Moving on with characters. We're up to episode 37, and we got, I will take a who and or what movie from you, if you can even give me that.
It looks like a damn Rorschach test. Or like a slug.
It is slug-like, I guess. It's this artwork isn't a great representation of him. He looks more like a giant walking fluke worm. But what he
that's
is,
much better.
Yeah, well, as far as visual description, it's still kind of frightening. But it's one of the characters that was in Jabba's palace.
Okay.
Essentially, kind of a background dressing character. He didn't play a direct role in the film events we saw on film.
But he had a backstory.
He has everything has a backstory, and I mean things, not just people. Everything has a backstory in Star Wars. But this is one of those characters we came in completely cold, knew nothing about him. His name's Amon. I think I forgot to mention that. And once we started to learn about this character, all of us got really interested and wanted to learn more. And this is a case where I guess it's be careful what you wish for, because Tim did continue to tell us, and it may have released. He may have shared some facts we maybe could have lived without. So. For more on what I am talking about, here's our clip from episode 37 about Amon.
You said you found something about like how there was 32 skulls.
Supposedly it says he had 35 heads displayed on posts around Jabba's palace complex.
That's cool.
It is cool. And supposedly he has a dead, dried, decapitated corpse right next to him that he like drags around as his whoopee.
You know what? I was wondering about that. They released an action figure for him. He's only had 2 action figures made, as far as I know. Yeah. And the second one that came out about 10 years ago came with like a dried up skeleton.
Ew.
It was a deluxe figure. It came with a dried up skeleton. It came with his staff, and it came with a very sassy little Salacious Crumb figure for some reason. Salacious Crumb was like sort of striking a sassy Beyonce pose in the package.
This is awesome. I'm looking at this picture. Chris has a picture with this body.
I think I'm looking at the same one. Yeah,
decapitated whoopee.
My whoopee. This is like as close as Star Wars has crept into the horror genre.
Well, what's cool is like this, of all the characters on a background, tell me fucking more about this guy.
Dude,
I want more.
This guy's like hostile.
Are you sure you want to hear more?
Oh.
All right. Interesting fact about the Amani. Not only do they eat with their mouth.
Oh no.
Which they can widen and eat like animals whole, like a snake. They also expel their quote-unquote biological waste.
Oh, God.
Also.
So he can talk shit.
And he
literally
eats.
Phenomenon. And as was pointed out a little bit, he literally talks shit. It says that they on one of the pages I was looking at, it says that they understand that in most cultures around the universe this is frowned upon, so they generally do this in private.
Well, that's
I would hope so.
I would hope so. Yeah, like all of us. Not many of us do this in public.
I do.
That's why nobody knows. That's why nobody knows.
You mean
his name.
not many of the 4 of us, or how specific are you talking?
He must have like a big ass carton of like Tic Tacs all the time with him.
That's what he carries.
Nobody
in his
knows
movie.
his name because they don't want to ask him. Because as soon as he opens his mouth,
My name's Amon.
This chronic halitosis comes out that smells like.
You smell like shit.
Oh my God.
So in a way, you don't know if the corn he's eating is food.
Come on. It's this endless cycle.
I was trying to think of a corn joke earlier, and I couldn't think of one that was funny. That was not too bad.
Best fact ever.
Once again, toilet humor saves the episode.
Yes. Okay, now it was pointed out earlier that he has these little tiny stubby legs, and they're not very good walkers. They're very slow. But just like the Lurmen, as we saw in that episode of Clone Wars, these guys are able to roll themselves up like Sonic the Hedgehog and roll at really high speeds. They can roll up. What's that?
They get coins?
Well, in certain parts of the country, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, they can roll at like really high speeds. They can roll up to 50 kilometers per hour.
Yeah, you were right. You should have stopped back then.
There have been action figures. This was an action figure in the original line of the Star Wars toys.
How big is it?
He's big. He's about, say if a action figure is like that tall, he's just like
he's like
another
like head
taller. So yeah, he was a big action figure. I never had him. He was released post the first Return of the Jedi wave, and I think that's the last time I had gotten figures as a kid.
Huh.
He was I think he was in the Power of the Force, which I just realized you're not understanding a word I'm saying.
It's all going blah, 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 blah. Mana.
Exactly. Let's go on with the next character. You got to know who this is. And there's a couple reasons you should know who this is.
Oh, I think I recognize that from the face-off.
Yes. And at this point, with how much you don't know, I will take that. I will take that answer.
Oh,
I'll take that answer. He was
all you're getting.
He was in the obscure character face-off. His name was Poggle the Lesser.
Oh, okay.
And specifically, you'll remember this event from the face-off. It's the one that Tim did his impression of.
That was
to
funny.
A thunderous applause.
That
and
was funny.
I'm not being sarcastic. I mean, it was really, people really thought that was funny.
That took a skill.
And it was funny. So, let's see. It's another prequel character. Attack of the Clones. This is our first time we see him. He's also in Revenge of the Sith, so I mean, at least he
still probably only saw it 5 5 seconds.
I don't think you hear us get too excited about prequel characters ever on the show.
No,
but in this character discussion, we start talking about his death, and going back and listening to this for the best of it's actually kind of funny how we get a little too excited about a character's death. So to better illustrate what I'm talking about, I'll play the clip. This is from episode 38. It is the character death discussion about Poggle the Lesser.
But yeah, and as we see later, Poggle escapes Geonosis, but not before we find out that the Geonosians and the Techno Unit, I would assume, had created plans for a super weapon, which we all found out later was the Death Star. So
yeah, that was at least like they did put those little things in there for, I don't know, at least people like me. Like, I'm checked out. Although I did like that battle. It was okay. I was with it at least a little bit through that. And then like you see the Death Star and you perk up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if only for a fleeting second, at least I was like into it.
Like, ooh, I know what that is.
I do remember going to see episode 2 on that midnight screening, and when they showed the Death Star, I remember just going, ooh. So I actually thought that the Death Star was going to have a much greater significance in episode 3 for some reason at that point. I thought maybe the plans or something having to do with the Death Star was going to have greater significance instead of just seeing the framework there at the end.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But it didn't.
No.
In case you
it did not.
Forgot. Okay.
There's a lot of things he forgot. There's a lot of things. But then, then the Clone Wars starts, and you'd think there's not a whole lot going on, but in season 2 of the Clone Wars, there's a really great 3-episode story arc that we see in season 2, where the Republic actually returns to Geonosis. The Separatists were able to retake the planet and start up a new droid foundry. And I would have to say that these 3 episodes trump the entire Geonosian storyline in the movie. They're just so well done, and they take on all different themes. Like they have one, it's called I think it's called Landing at Point Rain, where it's basically a 30-minute battle scene, and it's awesome. It puts you right there, better than the film. And then it goes on, and there's a horror thing with zombies and stuff that has to deal with the Geonosians, but it's really good. And Poggle the Lesser gets kidnapped and interrogated.
Is that like they're like little worms or something? That
I saw that one too. That was actually really good.
Yeah, there's some really good. It's actually a pretty scary episode. I watched it not that long ago, and I really enjoyed it. I think that they did some really good stuff with those 3 episodes with Geonosis.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Paga the Lesser is captured, but I don't remember how he escaped. He gets away at some point because we actually see him in episode 3, very briefly, getting killed by Darth Vader or Anakin Skywalker before he puts on the Darth Vader suit, but he's Darth Vader at that point.
Yep.
Yeah, that part was cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They actually he dies in different ways. In the book, they have him beheaded. I think on the Star Wars Revenge of the Sith video game, he gets squashed by a door. So they've killed him in a few different ways, but if I remember correctly, Anakin just slashes him with a sword and kills him.
He gets. I slowed it down because I only knew he was in episode 3 because my son. I thought I was done after episode 2. I was like, yes, done. And he was like, no, he's in episode 3. I was like, are you kidding? So he told me where it was, and thank God it wasn't long. And I slowed it down and paused it, like pause. He cuts his torso off.
Ugh.
At first I thought it was just his head, but it's not his head. It's like his shoulders. From his shoulders up.
Oh, wow.
It's cut off, and you see his head and shoulders, not the shampoo. You see them fly to one side as the rest of his body falls to the floor, and they're on fire. And he's got that cool little beard, you know?
Yeah.
He kind of, as he's cutting the head and shoulders off, he slices even off the ends, the tips of the beard.
Not the beard.
So as he's going down, you see like the severed part of his torso, like kind of orangey on fire, and some of the tips of the beard are even on fire.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
They for something that you can't even see unless you slow it down. They really put the time in.
Beard was singed.
Yeah.
They didn't need to sever the beard. I mean, nobody can see that when it happens.
Right.
But I did like this character, but I liked watching him die.
That's an FX guy taking real pride in his work, is what that is.
Yeah.
It was cool. And I love that scene because to me, all those guys, I'm sure Tim's going to make us sit through Newt Gunray and all these other people.
Oh, man. Why do you always make the future look so bleak?
I loved watching those guys die.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a great scene. It really is.
You were like in the theater standing up, popcorn split everywhere.
Absolutely.
Yes.
They were the bane of my existence.
I have no post-comment questions or anything prepared for you for this character. I could not think of any. So if you got anything you want to say, the floor is yours about Paga the Lesser.
No. It's a prequel character, therefore I have absolutely nothing to say.
Okay, fair enough. If you're a regular listener, you know when we get towards the end of the episodes, we usually round out everything with a round of trivia. We're not quite at the end of this episode, but we're getting there. And I did want to get a round of trivia in here. So,
Oh, God.
as I brought out my Obsessed with Star Wars book, which you can thank my parents for getting this for me. So it's their fault that we're able to
Thanks.
do this trivia.
Thanks so much.
This is the same book I think we used in the third round. We definitely used it in a round of trivia on the show. I think it was the third round. So this is the same set of questions. So I am going to ask you a random question. Let me set this to random. Okay, your question is number 1403. 1403. You are... I don't know if you got out of the prequel territory. Oh, yep. Okay, here's the 1300s.
Woohoo.
You're at least out of the prequel
Thank
questions. And it appears you have a New Hope question. Okay. What species has hidden prehensile proboscis, which they can suck out others' life essences through their nostrils? Which species have hidden prehensile proboscis with which they can suck out others' life essence through their nostrils?
Okay.
There's a multiple choice. A. I'm going to say Mercerians, but that may be wrong. B. Rhodians. D. Anzates. Or D. Ranets. Well, I just say them again, but A, B, C, or D, because you're pretty much going to be guessing.
Okay. C.
C? You're right.
Holy crap! How did that happen?
I don't know.
Ha!
Well, you're in the lead.
Ooh, yeah. Let's see what you got.
What?
183.
Oh, okay. That's definitely 183.
183.
Oh, that sucks. There's no way that can't be Phantom Menace.
The Phantom Menace era. 183. What was pod racer Ark Bumpy Roose's homeworld? Was it A?
C. I have no idea, so I'm guessing C now.
Was it A, stump, B, sump, C, slump, or D, scump?
Okay, it's not C. That's no way it's C. I'll say D. D is the only one that doesn't sound like a real word, so we'll say D.
Oh, no, it was C.
It was C? Was that stump or something?
Slump.
Oh, God. All right.
Slump.
No, you got 2234.
Oh.
Good Lord. That's probably a Jedi question.
Still in the realm of movies I've actually seen.
Exactly. No, it's Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
Okay, what species plan to eat Luke Skywalker?
What doesn't plan to eat Luke Skywalker?
A. Twi'leks, B. Ewoks, C. Sulistans, or D. Bith? What species plan to eat Luke Skywalker?
D.
D. Bith?
Wait, what was the first one?
Twi'leks. A. Twi'leks, B. Ewoks, C. Sulistans, D. Bith.
C.
C. Sulistans? Nope. I think it's B. Yeah, it's B. Ewoks.
Remember? They were going to eat him?
Yeah, so remember they put Han Solo over a fire?
I thought that was a form of torture.
Yeah, okay.
2090. Those cute
2090?
little, yes.
Okay, good. Not
cute
290?
little bear things couldn't eat anything. They're so cute. Ooh, it's on the
It's still Jedi. Okay, I wasn't
It
sure
is on the first page of the Return of the Jedi.
Okay, still Jedi.
Where did Luke Skywalker go to study the Force before his mission to rescue Han Solo? A. Dagobah, B. Tatooine, C. Dantooine, or C. Coruscant?
It's not going to be Dagobah. You think it's Dagobah, but it's not. This is a book thing. I think it's Tatooine is going to be the answer in this. If they're basing it after the radio drama, is my basis.
You have
Tatooine.
thought this through.
Yeah.
B.
That's trivia. Yeah. There you go. Well, we'll end it there on a friendly tie. 1-1. Or, yeah,
No,
1-1.
2-1.
2-1.
Oh, wait, no. Yeah, okay, 1-1.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So apparently it's not such a friendly tie.
Yeah.
So all right, let's get to we got this is our last character clip, but we got a couple things after this. But I'll give you I know you know who this is. We've talked about him before.
That is Salacious Crumb.
That is Salacious Crumb. Yes, and you remember who and what he is, or at least from the movie's perspective, right?
Yes.
Good. Okay, so here is this is a little bit about what his role was in Jabba's court. This is from episode 39, our episode about Salacious Crumb.
I read that he was almost like he had like a hand buzzer on his hands, would shake hands as a prankster. He like had like the whoopee cushions, put them under people's seats as a prankster. But he was gonna eat Jabba's food. Jabba got pissed. The monkey ran away and spilled it on Bib Fortuna. Jabba laughed and kept him as a pet because he made him laugh.
Seriously. That's the story?
That's the story.
Wow.
That's kind of the story. Yeah.
No. And then it was part of the deal, something about that he had to make Jabba laugh once a day and he would live.
Seriously?
If he didn't make him laugh, he would eat him.
Oh, that part I believe, actually.
But how the hell would Jabba catch him?
Well, he has one of his minions do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Surely not a Gamorrean guard. They couldn't catch him.
Exactly.
Maybe it was a man. He rolled up into a ball. Well, I like that. That's awesome. Was that in a book or something?
It's right on Wikipedia.
But where did it come from? Did it come from them, or was it in a backstory? Because I really like that. I like the idea of not only he's not just a pet. He has a duty to fulfill, and if he doesn't do it, he's gonna be eaten.
But the whole time we didn't even see him make Jabba laugh. Right?
That's a good point.
Yeah. Crumb. Chris sort of gave the quick story for him, but Crumb started out as kind of well, I'm just going to fill in a few of the blanks.
Oh, okay.
Crumb. He started out. He found his way. He was kind of like a rat. He was a pest. He found his way onto a ship that eventually went up to a space station, and he was sort of living on this space station as a pest, like hiding in corners and in walls and things. And he eventually stowed away on a ship. You know, he wasn't really thinking getting on the ship is going to get him off. He was just sort of on the ship. That was one of Jabba's ships. So that's how he got to Jabba's palace. They came down to Jabba's palace. He got out of the ship, and then he became a pest in Jabba's court. And as Chris said, Jabba caught him trying to eat his food. So you know, he runs away. Jabba tries to eat him. That was his initial punishment, but he made him laugh because he spilled stuff on the other guys. And as Chris said, his job is he had to amuse Jabba once a day, or he was going to die. Once a day, he had to amuse him.
So he's more like a court jester than a pet.
Yes,
yeah,
that's his actual official position. He is like a court jester. And if you look at him, he's got a little bit of a jester look. You know, like jesters have those things around their necks. You know,
and the hat has those like big ear bells hanging off of it.
Yeah.
Like the Harley Quinn hat, like that goes from side to side, like that kind of thing.
So he does look kind of like what we stereotypically think of a court jester to look like.
Well, that's cool, and I love how Bib Fortuna is just like the foil.
Yeah.
For this, like he is just such a bitch.
He's a stooge. You know what I mean? Like people carry a ladder and they turn and they hit Bib Fortuna in the head. You know what I mean? Bib Fortuna shovel.
But Crumb was basically the bane of everyone's existence that lived in the in Jabba's court, because he was constantly playing jokes on him to amuse Jabba. So he'd go up to someone and, you know, light a match and put it under, you know, F-Font Man's ass just to burn his ass to watch F-Font Man. Oh, and then he'd run away. Yeah. And then he'd come up and hide on Jabba.
Yeah, then he would take a nap, watch his tail move.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, he's a funny creature, I think. You know, he's really interesting.
Yeah.
I would love to see a fan film on just like what a pain in the ass he is. Just like he like shits in the middle of the floor and somebody falls on his salacious.
It's always Bib Fortuna.
Yeah.
He's like Mr. Roper or something. He's always getting, you know, what's going on here?
Mr. Roper.
Mr. Roper, man.
All right, we got one more clip. But before we get to that, I did mention way earlier in our first break about the ArTmor project, and that we have something we just launched where people can get involved apart from being artists, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I am gonna let's play that now before we get to our last clip. So here is a way you can get involved and help out the ArTmor project. The Star Wars in Character episode Donate for Dengar, benefiting the Mandalorian ArTmor project, presented by the Star Wars in Character podcast. So far, the ArTmor project has brought together 60 Star Wars artists, fans, podcasters, and fan community pioneers, each recreating the iconic Mandalorian armor into one-of-a-kind works of art. All artworks will be auctioned off as part of the Star Wars in Character 2013 Star Wars Toy Drive for the Philadelphia area Toys for Tots. Now, with a $5 donation to the ArTmor project, you'll receive a special thank you gift, a special episode of the Star Wars in Character podcast featuring the bounty hunter Dengar.
This is an awesome story. I'm like leaning in with your Dave's every word on this.
The backstory of one of the Empire Strikes Back's most memorable obscure characters.
So if you're like me and you want to know why he looks the way he looks,
This is a cool part of the story. Good.
here you go.
Looking forward to this.
There's a reason.
Oh yeah. Details and stories never seen in the movies.
Next time you're watching The Empire Strikes Back, during that scene when they're shooting those out, picture Dengar out there all excited that he's going to go get close to Han Solo just as they're all leaving and his ship gets hit by one of the blasts.
Oh, fiddlesticks!
Learn new information that leads to new questions. Is there no quick way to die on Tatooine? I mean, this sounds like this valley chips you to death very slowly. You digest for 1,000 years in the Sarlacc pit. Can't you just get killed on Tatooine to get it over with?
No, it's in their charter.
No one shall die in less than 2 weeks.
And a character discussion you've come to expect from the Star Wars in Character podcast.
That should be edited now.
When Chris starts giving editing notes, you'd said something pretty inappropriate.
True.
This episode has it all. Trivia, a dramatic reading, and of course, singing Monteroo.
Oh, jeez.
Monteroo.
Nobody gets that reference.
You did.
Yeah, I did.
What's that say for you? Donate just $5 to the ArTmor Project and download the episode that's guaranteed to leave a lasting impression.
Everybody who listens to this podcast, their internal voice for Dengar is shot.
But that's not all. Make a donation of $10 and get the Bigs deal. As a thank you for your donation, you'll get the Dengar episode and a digital copy of our 2013 convention promotion episode, Biggs Darklighter. This special episode uncovers the history of the infamous Imperial pilot turned rebel.
Biggs, he's called Biggs for a reason. That's all I'm saying.
That's his first name.
They're best friends.
That's good. That's good, man.
From his defection from the Empire to his ace piloting skills with the Alliance.
He had a signature move. He would spin his X-Wing in a circle, firing all 4 cannons at once, and he would be able to destroy multiple targets.
Yeah.
That was called a Darklighter spin.
Clever name.
A special trivia round and celebrity encounter stories.
Biggs was played by Garrick Hagan. Now, I know at least 3 of the 4 of us have met him. Matt, have you?
No.
I love that.
The Bigs deal, our thanks for your donation of $10 to the ArTmor Project. And last but not least, as a thank you for a donation of $20 or more to the ArTmor Project, we give you the entire exclusive galaxy. Every exclusive episode of the Star Wars and Character podcast recorded in the past 2 years. Our 2012 convention episode, Ponda Baba. The Indiegogo campaign episode on Bib Fortuna. The Star Wars Celebration 6 panel attendance gift episode, Jango Fett. Dengar and Biggs Darklighter. And the 2012 Star Wars and Character Christmas Spectacular Edition with separate song tracks, production rehearsal recordings, outtakes, and an extended behind-the-scenes recording of the creation of the Christmas Spectacular. Each episode is available to download digitally with instant access after the donation is processed. To donate or learn more, visit our website at swic.neozaz.com/donate. All donations will be used to fund the ArTmor Project and help the Star Wars fan community make this project one of the most successful charity events of 2013. The Star Wars and Character Podcast thanks you for listening and thanks everyone for their support in this exciting new project. All right, we're at our last clip for this best of episode, and this is also from episode 39, the Salacious Crumb episode. Mm-hmm. Now, I know you like Salacious Crumb, and I think mainly because he's very Muppet-like, and you certainly like Muppets.
Yeah.
You're host of the Muppets and Character podcast. But do you like his voice? I mean, we only hear him cackle, but do you like the way he sounds?
It's the funniest thing.
Good. Okay, cool. That's cool, because I asked that because this clip we have from that same episode is that Chris had the opportunity to talk to the voice artist of Salacious Crumb. His name is Mark Dodson. He's a voice actor. He was at a Pittsburgh convention. We took a shot at contacting him. He was very gracious in letting us take time with him. Well, letting us by Chris interviewing him. Chris said he was a fantastic, nice guy. Was really happy to meet him. And the interview is really good. Again, this is another clip that I could have put the whole thing in, but it's pretty long. And I don't mean long in a bad way. It's a good long. It's something I really encourage people to listen to. It's a fun interview. So what I had to do was narrow it down to what was my favorite answer to one of Chris's questions. So here is just a little bit of that interview of Chris with the Salacious Crumb voice actor, Mark Dodson.
I know for a fact that this next question you never heard, and you will probably never hear it again. All right. This is a really awesome question, though. All right. We were wondering for our podcast and want to hear your take on it. After Salacious Crumb has ripped 3PO's eyes out of the socket, R2 comes over and zaps him. Okay? Salacious Crumb looks down at them and says something, and it almost appears like he's cursing at them. What do you think he's saying?
Well, it would depend on what part of when Ben was directing me, but I believe that was where he was telling me that the giant has caught me stealing some of his food. And so I think pretty much what I was just saying was to let me go. But I was screaming, so I was like, is that kind of, okay? So what I was thinking when I was saying it was, let me go, I'm scared, that kind of thing.
I was hoping for some kind of like Star Wars curse word.
Let me go, you bastard.
I will take that. I will take that.
All right, so that's my favorite answer. I don't. Maybe the only one where he curses in it might be my favorite, but
you just like that.
I don't.
You
I
bastard.
guess so. Well, you made it through the best of.
I survived.
Now, having heard all those clips, have we turned into a regular listener yet?
I will be a regular listener of the next clip show.
Okay. All right. Well, we can at least be comforted in the fact that we will continue to hear you on every episode, at least for the next 100 episodes.
I'm pre-recorded. I don't have to worry about it.
Well, with that, I want to thank everyone for listening. Join us for our upcoming 100th episode. It's going to be something we've never done before. We're really excited to do. We're excited to talk to everyone that wants to participate. Check our Facebook for the date and time. That is facebook.com/Star Wars in Character. If you want to learn more about the ArTmor Project, there's a Facebook page for that as well. That is facebook.com/ArTmor Project. And ArTmor is spelled ArTmor. Well, with that, I want to thank everyone that checked out this best of episode, no matter how you checked it out. If you're listening to this on our regular iTunes feed and you're not a member of our Facebook page and did not see that we announced there's an accompanying video to this, there's a video for this on our new YouTube channel. And you can find this and our other videos by searching for Neozaz Vids on YouTube. If you happen to stumble on this on YouTube and didn't realize there's another 99 regular episodes and a total of 127 episodes behind this one, check us out on iTunes by searching for Star Wars in Character on iTunes. Our Facebook page, as I said several times before, is facebook.com/Star Wars in Character. And if you want to learn more about the ArTmor Project, that has a Facebook page as well. That is facebook.com/ArTmor Project. And ArTmor is spelled ArTmor. Oh, with that, I also wanted to take a moment to thank my co-host for this episode from Neozaz.com's podcast, The Great 80s Movie Debate, Muppets in Character, and who knows what else in the future. Possibly some more videos for this and for Neozaz. Christy.
Why, thank you for having me.
Thank you. So, do you want to take us out in this episode? Get the end credits rolling in the way you have 99 times before?
Okay, so you've been watching Star Wars in Character. Thanks for watching or listening or whatever you're doing.
Yes, that is proof right there you've never listened to the episodes. They're nowhere close to the thing you said 99 times before. That's okay. All right, everybody. Thanks again for listening and join us on the 100th episode.
Thanks for listening to Star Wars in Character. Star Wars in Character is part of the Neozaz.com network of podcasts. For more great podcasts and original entertainment, please visit www.neozaz.com. Star Wars in Character is not affiliated with nor endorsed by Lucasfilm Limited or 20th Century Fox. Star Wars and all Star Wars universe characters, places, or Star Wars-related items are the copyright of Lucasfilm Limited or their respective trademark and copyright holders. Visit www.swic.neozaz.com for the latest Star Wars in Character episodes and information.